The egg strategy, Biden's legacy, President Biden's legacy. You ever notice how sometimes you've got to be really specific when giving advice to certain people? Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's a phrase most adults understand, right? You say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You assume that what the person is going to do is say, oh, what I need is multiple eggs or baskets. I need like multiple baskets that I'm going to watch over so that like if one basket there's a problem, then I have diversification, right? It's a diversification terminology. But when Joe Biden was president, that was too complicated. It's too complicated. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You tell him that, and what does he do? He leaves all the eggs on the desert floor. He dumps the basket out. He dumps the basket out, you idiot. That's not what you're trying to do. You need more baskets that you take care of. When we say don't put all your eggs in one basket, you don't just dump the eggs onto the desert floor in Afghanistan, still warm from the taxpayer chicken. Those are our eggs, you moron. And then not just anywhere, right in front of the wolves, for crying out. You're going to dump, now you dump the basket out in front of the wolves, the Taliban wolves, for crying out. And then who then flew off in American, they fly off in American-made helicopters using American-made rifles, guarding American-made stolen eggs that were pretty easy to steal because he dumped the basket out on the desert floor right in front of him. So it was like watching someone drop the world's most expensive Easter basket in a war zone, for crying out. At that point, don't put all your eggs in one basket was too advanced. It was too advanced. You've got to get really detailed with some people. You got to break it down in a way that you cannot possibly misinterpret what is being said. So we had to start with something simple, like don't hand all your eggs to the enemy. How about that? How about we start there? And then don't hand all your eggs to the enemy and then bend over in front of them so we can throw them at your butt. How about that? How about you try starting there? Biden didn't just lose the eggs, he practically gift wrapped them. He signed each one, "From Joe with love, P.S. Please don't shoot me with these later," And then, just to top it off, he left the wolves in charge of guarding the hen house. He's like, don't worry. Yeah, sure, they're terrorists, but now they're they're going to help us out now. Okay, they're going to help us out. We're going to put them in charge of the guarding structure. So it was the most expensive going away gift in history, $80 billion in equipment and zero accountability. Meanwhile, Trump comes back in and it's like, all right, let's clean up this omelet, for crying out loud. He's out there saying, we're bringing the eggs home, folks. The best eggs, strong eggs, tremendous shells on these eggs. Tremendous shells we have on these eggs. And honestly, at least now the eggs aren't being guarded by the same people who used to throw them at us. That's not the way you do things for guarding the eggs. Biden's motto was basically, don't put your eggs in one basket, put them on the floor in front of the terrorist. That's not the gist of the saying. Again, I have to look, you got to be specific with people like this. You got to be specific. Otherwise, they do the dumbest interpretation that you could possibly imagine when you're trying to give them a clear idiom that has gone down through his, and then they hire the terrorist as your egg security detail. But hey, the good news is the chapter's over. American finally got someone back in the kitchen who knows what to do with an egg besides drop it.